Welcome back to Monday Special in the wake of the the tragedy that occurred at Stepjoy High School yesterday. And of course, the unrest that we're witnessing in some schools recently. We are going to ask today, and we're asking what is wrong with the education institutions. We're talking about indiscipline in schools. What do you think is the best solution to this? Talk to us on 22422 or on Twitter using the hashtag Monday Special KE. Right, Mary Mambo is a parent, and she's on my immediate right. She'll be talking to us about her experience as a parent on this. Next to her is Susan Onjiku, 19-year-old, 22-year-old. Yeah. She'll tell us about her experience at St. Paul's. Yeah. Right. Currently, you are where, you told me?
I'm in Amboseli.
You're in Amboseli. Yeah. Right. Is doing what exactly?
Hospitality management.
Right. And James Nganga is the principal, Guitarist Secondary School in Kiambu. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Arafat Onyango, a student at Nairobi University, was also a student in Mangu High School last year. That is when you cleared your Form 4.
No, in 2013.
In 2013, right. Yeah. And of course, we have Dr. Susan Kiragu, who is an education expert. Thank you all so much for making time for Monday Special tonight. And I'll start off this conversation by looking at three texts here, three text messages from our viewers, which again shows the blame game and tries to, you know, from this we'll get from the discussion here who actually or where actually is the problem. Let me start by Ruth, who says, pupils and students are under pressure to perform, from parents to teachers and even societal expectations. The education system should go easy on tests and exams. I don't know if she's blaming this on that. That is Ruth. And of course, somebody else who hasn't written her name or his name or where they're from says the principals and the administration they partly contribute on the reason for students to go on strike, since they treat students in harsh and brutal ways. And Neji says, when I was a school kid, my mom used to tell me that if I misbehaved or disobeyed teachers, she would come to school, cane and demand that I'm caned by her headmaster in her presence. I made sure I obeyed all school rules. I learned to respect all authority. Let parents discipline their children. I'll start with you, Mary, talking about parents disciplining their children. Do you think that is where the problem is?
Yeah, I think that is where the problem is, Hassan, because you know, a child behaves according to how one sees in the house. Because like if the child is not with the parents and the parents are so busy working and looking for money, and now this child grows up being on the hearts of the house girl or the houseboy, and now after class 8 this boy or this girl has been taken to a secondary school, and then you'd expect this boy or girl to behave. I think the problem is with the parents.
You think the problem is the parents?
Yes.
Right. Arafat, let me go to you.
Yeah.
And tell me about your experience during school days. Do you agree with what she's saying?
It's true. In that we don't have the time with our parents. The only time we see them are during the weekends when we are in holidays. So you find in such a way that we have our personal problems that we want to share out and speak them out, but there's no time. Nobody gives us an ear.
At home?
At home. Even in school. Even in school. We view our teachers as dictatorial. Nobody tries to hear us. It's either them or them.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say nobody tries to hear you out? And tell me about school, especially. What do you mean when you say nobody tries to hear you out? How? Like, what do you want to say to them?
Our teachers, especially the discipline masters, you find a way in such a way that you're in trouble, but they don't find the root cause of the trouble. So you're punished. Maybe you are not the one who was on the wrong. Yeah.
Such issues. Do you agree, Susan?
It's true. I tend to agree with him. Because you find at times when you're in school, maybe before 10, you used to be part bad student. You're trying to reform, you're trying to change. But those specific teachers, they don't see that change in you. So when someone else does a crime, the teacher will definitely pinpoint you. He or she will come and say like, no, this is Susan who did this. Definitely, she did this and that in the past. So chances of her doing the same currently are very high. So out of these, you get stressed. You're trying your level best, but the teacher is not saying that. Your friends also not saying that. So you see, it's very terrible. It's a very painful feeling.
that of being disciplined? Or being punished? Or is there other issues? Like somebody here talking about peer pressure, talking about the pressure to perform in school, the pressure from parents, the pressure from society.
Okay.
Is that an issue?
You see, like pressure from our teachers. They are
To perform?
Yes, they're really trying to help us perform in school. But there are those who education was totally never meant for them. You'll find them extending prep time up to 11, but when exams come, you're getting that D+. You see, totally exam wasn't made for you. Maybe you're very good in co-curricular activities, but in class, actually you get nothing. The teacher is pressuring you. You have to do this. He says you have the capability, but as much as you're trying, it gets in through here, it just comes out of here. It's not your fault anyway.
Okay, so that's a sad way of looking at it, but we'll get back for more experiences from you and Arafat. Let me go to the principal here. James, they say, I mean, you don't hear their problems, you don't hear them out.
I can say that it's true that sometimes we don't listen to them, and sometimes the way they present their issues is also very difficult to us, because in schools right now we have the Students' Council, where we normally give the students a chance to elect their own leaders, and they do that. But these leaders that they choose is like they are compromised by the students, such that they don't come to us properly to tell us on the issues that they have. So you'll find even those the leaders are the ones who are leading in some of these unrest in the schools, because they don't come to us. Again, we are in a lot of pressure as teachers, because pressure from the parents, pressure from the government, pressure from all over, because we are expected to perform, and there is also the performance contract that we are supposed to sign. You see, so all these issues brings a lot of problem to us. Like as an administrator, I'm supposed to manage the dormitories, I'm supposed to manage the classrooms, I'm supposed to manage the human resource. So in as much as we are being blamed as administrators, there's a lot of pressure on our side. On your side as well? Yes. What do you think the disconnect is, Dr. Susan?
I think it boils down to the society that we live in. The children are aping exactly what they've seen the adults in society do, whether it's the parents, the teacher, the leaders, whatever other adults. They're aping. It's just that their context is different. We are seeing the adults in our lives, whatever they have in their power, they destroy or they take advantage of for their own gain. Not for the good of the country, not for the good of others, but themselves. Now, think about what is in the jurisdiction of our students. Their dormitory, their school, their library. So when they want to pass a point across, they have seen in society that it's radical measures, not dialogue, not reasoning, that makes things work, and they go at it. So I think what has happened in the schools, so it's not just Step Joy at the moment, there's so many others before. It's becoming a pattern. It's as a result of what they are consuming and absorbing from the society. And
I can see Arafat nodding his head. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree.
Why would you agree with? I mean, she's saying they believe, they see from the society, maybe the most radical way, the best thing is to do, I mean, to get the attention, is to do the most radical thing.
Our society has developed a culture in which to pass across an information, you need to be violent in order to be seen, in order to be heard. If you go slow, there's no effect on those who are in the chambers. In your high school years, now you can reveal you're no longer in Manda, but of course if you wish to. Did you ever come across such students who are planning to do A, B, C, D, having meetings and all that, and who are aggrieved in one way or another, planning a strike, planning to destroy some property in school or anything? Planning to destroy property? Did you ever hear a wind of such? No. You've never? Yeah. Right. What about you, Susan?
Definitely I have.
Yes, you have. Okay.
I remember when I was in Form 4, there are those who are below us. They were really trying to lock us one time when we were doing our morning preps. They were planning on on striking, and then you wonder, like, when you strike, if you're planning to change the school and you're going to another school, it's not much of a good issue, because you know, when you're going to another school, they ask you, which school did you come from? I came from St. Paul's. St. Paul is known for maybe bad behaviors, but then if you're still planning to retain the school, if you're used to paying a school fees of about 20,000 per term, trust me, the following term you're going to pay 27,000. It's upon you as a student to reason twice, because because it's your parents' money that is going to be used.
Was your reasoning then and now the same when you're hearing those things in school?
Somehow, yeah.
I mean, talk me through, and the same with you, Arafat. Talk me through your high school years. You hearing students want to pass certain information to teachers, they can't hear them, they're getting frustrated. You know, they're planning to do things. Have you ever had that?
Sure.
How does it work? I mean, how does it start and become such a big issue?
For example, there's an issue in your school. Let me use the food part.
Okay.
The food in the dining hall, maybe you want to be changed a certain meal, or it's not cooked part well. So you're trying to pass an info that we want this food changed, or maybe
through formal ways.
If you're talking and you're not being heard, what's the next thing you do? You have to be violent to be heard. Probably that's the way they'll understand us better. What do? I want to take my meal, and I want to take it better because this is my mother's money I'm using.
Yeah.
This is my parents' money. But again, if I'm not having the right food, what do? I'm trying to pass an info, but then our teachers at which maybe at some point they're trying to be ignorant. Sorry to say that, but they're trying to be ignorant. They're like, no, this is school. You don't get exactly what you want. But I'm trying to pass an information, and they're not hearing. What do? That day we're going on strike. We're not eating. We're going to pour all the food. You get?
Let me get Arafat on the same.
True on the food. Back in high school, there was kerosene in our food. So some students went to the tuck shop. They skipped meals, and our deputy teacher, by then, he said that we're wasting our pocket money on going to the tuck shop, and the school has budgeted on the food, but the food was really bad. We tried to go through formal channels, but nothing happened. So one day we decided that we will not eat. So everybody was there. We prayed, but nobody ate. Then when the time was up, everybody left. Yeah.
Let me talk to principal here just before I come to the parent. And when you hear them talk like this, and many of them saying they try to talk to teachers, but they're just looked down upon, and they're told, you know, this is school. Like she says it plainly, this is school. You just have to live with it the way it is. What comes to your mind?
Now, Hussein, there's a big problem because sometimes quite a number of students are satisfied with whatever is happening, and a small percentage is the one that is not satisfied. And it is not that we don't like to understand. Sometimes we even take, like in my school right now, the food that the students take is the one that we do take during lunchtime.
Yes.
And also supper time, in some schools, the teachers who are on duty, they take the same kind of food. But you see, in a school situation, you cannot provide the kind of food that is at home. The kind of preparation that is done at home is very different from what is done in school. And this is a student, or this is a boy or a girl who is used to eating chapos, rice, and that kind of stuff in school, at home. But now in school, we cannot be able to provide such. So the githeri, the ugali that we prepare for them may not be the best per se, but it's still food, and it's still okay. And quite a good number, sometimes they take. In fact, there's a time when in a school that I was, we used to go in shifts, and the first shift came and they took the supper so well. Second shift comes and says, no, the food is bad. Some have already taken, quite a good number has already taken, and another group is saying it is bad. So you wonder.
But okay, fair enough. But like they say, for instance, it's obviously it's not about the food only. There are other issues that students have a problem with. But going with that example of food, Their problem is not so much as how, okay, the food is bad, some may say, but it's just that they're not being heard. Is there, what can I say, a channel to listen to them, to talk to them and talk back to them about that problem?
Yes,
food, for instance?
Yes, those channels are there. Only that I talked about the student council, who usually goes to the administration. They are the link between the students and the administration. And they come with issues. They come and tell us the food is not okay. They come and tell us, Molim, there is a problem here or there is a problem there. And we try to address those issues. But the problem is, some problems you cannot be able to solve them
immediately.
It's not possible. It's
okay.
not possible.
Okay, before we take a break, I want to engage Mary in this. You said mostly it's the parents to blame?
Yeah, Hussein, there are many factors that are contributing to our children. One of them, these children, they need care and they need support. They need to connect with their parents. It's very worrying that many of the children, they don't connect with their parents. And that's why they go out and get peers whom they get their advice from. And I think the problem that we are having today in our schools, in our society, is deeper than what we are talking today. We need research whereby the parents, the government, the teachers should come together and think about what about now my child here and my child here. How will they bring up their children?
Have you experienced this as a parent?
I'm a counselor by profession, and so many children, they come to me. The parents brought them to me.
Right.
And when we talk with the children, most of them, they say, I take drugs, I take alcohol, my parents doesn't know, and I don't want them to tell them. So I keep quiet because you don't do disclosure unless somebody says. So there is a lot of problem than what we are talking about today.
Okay. You don't think there are any problems, like the students also say, on the part of the administration in schools?
Could be, but the problem, as I said from the beginning, is parent. The parent, how they parent their children. They should know their children when they go out and when they go in.
Okay.
And there should be a connection between a parent, a teacher, and a child. So this has to be checked properly.
What kind of connection? Let me ask Dr. Susan Darasi.
There are two things that I want to add on. First of all, the following up on research. I think there's a lot of research that has been done. It can never be exhaustive. But I think there is a gap in how to translate research and ideas. We're saying such wonderful ideas here, but how do we then translate them to action? We can sit here, talk, but then tomorrow another school goes down. Tomorrow something happens. Tomorrow is 10 kids that die. So we need to think of the skills and what do we need to harness in people to now translate what we are talking into action. Then I also want to talk about ownership and what you cherish. What are these children learning about what do you do when what do you do with what you cherish? A lot of people, a lot of leaders, a lot of adults, when they are given a responsibility, they are trashing that responsibility. Okay. So the children themselves are seeing that, and you cannot grow what you don't cherish. Right. And that's what they're doing to us. The schools, they're not cherishing the schools, and so it is easy for them to light a match and bad the school.
Yeah. All right, keep talking to us on 22422 on Twitter using the hashtag Monday Special KE. What do you think is the problem? Who is to blame? And not necessarily who is to blame, but what is the solution for this? Talk to us. We are back after this short break.